So we'll start the recording. So once again, officially welcome to Lean Six Sigma White Belt Certification Training. So as you can see, it's a certification training. That means you'll be getting a certificate at the end of this session itself, right? Now, I don't mind if you have any questions in between, and you can type in the chat so I can take care of your questions, all right? Even though we will have specific session for question answers, all right? So we'll do that as well. But during the session itself, I don't mind any questions. Now, to start with, I want to ask all of you, have you ever attended any Lean Six Sigma training before, or is it the first time? Have you attended any Lean Six Sigma training before? So Binish, first time, Ria, no, Adnan, first time, Safa, first time, Muhammad, first time. Okay, very good. So that means normally the audience that I get in a Lean Six Sigma white belt is new. And as you can hear, it's a white belt. So you may think there are other belts. Yes, there are some other belts as well. So there is a white belt is the first belt, which is introductory. All right. So that's why in 2 hours you become certified, because this is actually giving you information on very basic on what is Lean Six Sigma. All right. So then you have yellow belt, which is one level up. And yellow belt is more theoretical belt. I don't recommend, by the way, yellow belt, but it's okay. Those who want to do it, and if it's sponsored by the company or if it's a free session, do it. But if you have to pay and you have to spend your time, then do it for the green belt. All right. Green belt has more value. It's more practical belt. You actually do some projects in it. All right. Even though if it's a virtual project, but you get to learn how to execute Lean Six Sigma projects. And then, of course, you do black belt. And then there is master black belt. So green belt is about a week. It's about 32 hours training. Black belt is about 64 hours. Unless if you are already green belt, then you have to take only 1 week training, which is another 32 hours. So you become black belt. So directly, can you go to the green belt or black belt? Yes, you can directly go and skip white belt and yellow belt if you want to. Because normally what we are going to cover today is already been covered, or normally organizations, they cover in the green belt. Or when they start black belt of 2 weeks, they cover that. Then, of course, there is a master black belt, all right? So as a trainer, I am PMP certified. I'm a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt. I'm ITIL Foundation certified, lead auditor and lead implementer senior in business continuity ISO 22301 and ISO 9001 lead auditor as well. Balanced scorecard professional. So I have different certifications, and that filled in my, let's say, gap that I feel it's for the master's degree. So I did my bachelor's in IT from US. And then I went through the route of certifications, which helped me a lot throughout the career, right? And I highly recommend these certifications, at least 3 of them. So that's PMP, which is project-based, then ITIL, which is at least foundation, which is operation-based, because the organizations do these 2 things. Either they are project-based or they are operations. So both of these certificates cover that. And then in both areas, you have problems. So that's where the Lean Six Sigma comes in, and at least green belt, all right? So these are the 3 certifications I highly recommend to everyone. I've been doing it since 2009, since I started working in trainings. It worked very well for me and for a lot of my students, even though now when they meet up, they give very good feedback about it. And the recommendation worked well for them as well. So carrying on with this, Lean Six Sigma. What do you think? What is lean? Just randomly, whatever comes to your mind, whatever you think is lean. Have you heard about it before? Or what you heard about it? Just type in. You can type in lean. What is it? Project methodology. Not a project methodology. Okay, so no idea is fine. Fat-free, yeah, thank you, Abdurrahman, right? That's a good one. Removal of errors, Ahmed, okay, very good. Problem-solving methodology, okay. So yeah, let's talk about it. So Lean Six Sigma itself is a problem-solving methodology, which means you have a problem and you can work your way through to fix it, right? Now, how can we do it? Let's think about it. What kind of problems you may have? Type in your problem, guys. So what do you think? What kind of problems you have in your organization? What do you face? Osama is using some lean language, Muda activities, all right? Very good. Muda in Japanese called waste. True. Okay, so problem solving methodology, yes, but what are the problems that you face? Okay, business process, breakdown in production, okay, remove waste. Okay, very good. So some of the problems that you mentioned here, all right, documentation process or process is broken, all right, worker management or time management. Okay, very good. Now, any of the problem that you come up with, it has an impact, right? And majorly the impact is financial, right? So what happened is you want your organization to work on those so that you become more efficient, all right? Financially, you become more efficient, so you save money. A lot of cost saving initiatives are actually Lean Six Sigma projects, all right? So we talk about a lot of waste, a lot of rework. We talk about customer dissatisfaction, customer iteration, customer complaints, a lot of rejections in your final product. All these are problems, right? Even you're talking about your employees' retention rate is very high. Yes. So what basically you do, you actually go through the Lean Six Sigma project, right? So there are 5 phases. Define. So define what the problem is. Try to come up with more quantified element of the problem itself. So if you talk about customer complaints, how many complaints? It's impacting how much dollar amount. So that's basically what you're looking at, right? You quantify, you define the problem in a better way, right? In a more extensive way. So you define the problem, so you understand it in a better way, then you measure it, all right? So you try to exactly know what's happening, what's going on. You try to collect the data, right? You look at the process itself, what the key steps are, and then you collect the data. That's a measure phase. Then you analyze, which means you try to find out what the root cause is. So once you know the root cause, then you move on to the next phase, phase number 4, which is improve. Now you know the root cause, so you fix the root cause. You don't try to fix everything, all right? And that's what the difference between Lean Six Sigma methodology and some other problem-solving methodologies, where you don't try to fix everything or improve everything. You improve the process by focusing on what the issue is and try to fix that by fixing the root cause. And then, of course, the final stage is control. So control is where you have improved your organization. You don't want to go back to the old state. So you want to stay where you are, right? In the improved state. So that's the MAC methodology, all right? That's basically you apply in Lean Six Sigma. That's the methodology itself, all right? Now I will share my screen, and COSO is basically linked towards your risk management, right? Whereas this is more on your problem-solving methodology. But yes, that's where you're talking about having a proper methodology, proper framework to carry on. So let me share a screen, and I want to share with you the element, all right? The difference between some other methodologies and Lean Six Sigma, all right? So this is basically what you will look at. I believe you can see my screen. Yes. Okay, so I can see, yes, you can see the screen, good. So we'll share our contact information as well, right? So we can stay connected even afterwards. So this slide is very important. And by the way, we'll share these slides with you as well by email, okay? So what we are talking about here is look at different elements. So if you look at the first one, it says Sigma, right? I don't know if you can see my pointer, by the way, but here is Six Sigma, which is the world-class benchmark. So this number 6 is, as you can see, it's in ascending order. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's your Sigma level. So let's say, since I see message from Muntaha. So let's say, Muntaha, if you are working on a process, and let's say if you're making these mobiles, and I ask you, like, how good is your process of making these mobiles? Or it could be any product, right? And we'll talk about services in a few minutes as well, right? You can apply Lean Six Sigma to your service industry as well. It's not only for your manufacturing industry. So based on how many defects you have in your process, we can calculate your sigma level. So if you look at the COPQ, that's cost of poor quality, how much money you actually put in back to the process to fix it from your revenue, right? So that's basically these percentage. And then PPMO or DPMO, which is parts per million opportunities or defects per million opportunities, are basically what we are looking at, your defects in your process. So to start with, let's say this is your product. Now, what are your customer requirements about this mobile? Your screen should be working fine. I mean, no scratch. Sound should be working fine. Let's say there's a specific width and height of this mobile. All right, so these are two other requirements. Another one is, let's say, battery. So let's say 5 requirements. There could be more, of course. So there are more requirements, but let me carry on with these 5 requirements that you have towards your, from your customers. So if any one of them will go wrong, customer will not buy your mobile, will not buy your product. Right? Are we clear with this, everyone? Are we good? So far, so good? Do you understand the customer requirements? We call them opportunities. All right. So I can see a lot of yes. Okay, that's good. So what happens is that now, if you have a mobile and there is a scratch, customer will not buy it. That scratch actually is a defect. All right. So your piece is a defective piece. By the way, we cover this in more detail when it gets to green and black belt. There are defects and there are defective pieces. Any piece can be defective if it has one or more defects, all right? Again, depending on the customer requirements. So in your case, you have this mobile and it has a scratch. So it's a defect, making it a defective piece. Customer will not buy it. They will reject it. Or you have to go back and do some rework. You have to fix it, right? Or it's going to become a scrap. So either ways, that is all your COPQ, cost of poor quality. That's where your money goes in from your revenue, where you have to do the rework, or you have to fix something, or you have to throw it away. So now, if you are a Six Sigma organization, right? So Muntaha, your process will be Six Sigma process if you only have 3.4 defects out of 1 million opportunities. All right. In other words, let's make it simple. If you make 1 million mobiles and only 3.4, let's say 3 mobiles are defective, that means your process is a Six Sigma process. All right. The more number of defects you have, as you can see in ascending order, the more number of defects you have, the lower the sigma is. So it's opposite, right? So it's that's a good thing that happened, when you're 40 plus, you start forgetting words. Anyway, so that's it'll come, all right? It'll come to mind. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. So the relationship between your defects per million opportunities and sigma level, all right? So it's opposite. It's called invertal, or anyway. So what we're talking about here, inverse relationship. Yes, inverse. And there is another word for that as well. That's what I was looking for. Anyway, it will come back. Thank you, Binish. So what happened is, you have only 3.4 defects, your process is Six Sigma. Binish has the same company, but a different factory in a different country or in a different city. But she has about 233 defects. Same week. Let's talk about the same week production. So her process is 5 Sigma, but Muntaha's process or his factory is 6 Sigma. You see the difference, what's happening? So your requirements, if the requirements are same, all right? If your requirements are different, of course, then we cannot compare, oranges with apples. We have to compare oranges with oranges. So your requirements are same because that's what happened. You have same company with the same requirements, but the factories in different cities, all right? So you can find out which one is doing better. But even if you have different factories with different requirements, you can still find out your sigma level. But then the comparison, you have to be careful, because maybe it's okay for Binish to have a 5 Sigma process in a factory, but it's not okay for Muntaha to have a 5 Sigma process, because Muntaha's process is more sensitive. For example, let's say it's linked with NASA. So we cannot have a product which can have, even maybe 3.4 is very critical. But Binish, since it's mass production, we are making mics, all right, or we are making some audio devices. It's okay to have technical flaw, and we are fine with 233 defects out of million. Because remember, the higher sigma level you want, which means the lower defects you want, right? Inverse relationship. So the higher sigma level you want, lower defects you want, it means what? I want to hear from you guys. What does that mean? If you want to have zero defects or near zero defects to your organization, to your business process, what does that mean? Improve your quality. Okay, agree. Yes. Process optimization for sure. That's how you can do it. But hold on. So I see improve systems, improvement, focus on enhancing, remove variation, higher sigma level. Okay, now I want you to hold on, guys, everyone. Think from a perspective that you are the owner of this factory. You are the owner of the factory, and now you're moving from 4 sigma to 5, and then 5 to 6 sigma. The defects were here, and then here, and then here. So what are we talking about? Rabi, thank you very much. We're talking about more cost. All right. So what happens is actually, if you want to implement, if you want to improve your process, remember, quality is not free. All right. You have to spend money, you have to spend time, you have to bring in efforts, you have to bring in resources to improve your quality. So in order to improve your quality, which means improving your process, improving your sigma level, you have to spend money. And that money that you're spending should be somehow justifying the cost saving you're going to do based on the number of defects you're reducing. So now you don't have to go back and redo 6,000 pieces. You only have 200 pieces that are scrapped. All right. So in this 6,000 pieces that are not bad anymore, do you save this extra $20,000, $30,000 that you spent to improve? If yes, it's a very good decision to improve your sigma level. It's a very good idea to stay. Otherwise, we call it optimized level. So maybe for Sabah, your optimized level for 6 sigma is not 6. For your organization, for your process, it's ideal if you stay at, let's say, 5.1 sigma or maybe 4.5 sigma. All right. 4.5 sigma is somewhere like what? 2,000 defects per million. Maybe that's okay with you. All right. And that's okay for your organization, because otherwise you might be spending way too much money and the benefits are way too less. You don't want this, right? So you need to look at your own organization, that what sigma level you should be. All right. So that's a critical element. Now, do you understand what are we talking about sigma? The link between the defects and the sigma level. Is it clear? Do we understand that? Girish said yes. Wakas, yes. Iman, yes. Asya, yes. Saqib Noor. Okay, very good. So Tawanda, yes. Very good. So that's the base, basic understanding of your Lean Six Sigma, especially the Six Sigma part. All right, very good. And that actually comes from where? Now, these defects that you have, they are coming from either you have too much variation in the process, or the mean is on a wrong place. Okay, what does that mean? So you're producing these mobiles now, and the weight of this mobile, one of the requirements from your customer is the weight. The weight supposed to be, let's say, 100 grams. Okay. So if you're making this mobiles, and of course it's automated, process and everything is happening, maybe 10% human interaction. Now, you just produce this one piece and it's 99.7 grams. Man, plus minus 2 grams is okay. In any process or every process, you may have some variation, which is fine. But the variation has to be limited, right? So what happens now? Here is your mobile. You produce that. Plus minus 2 grams is okay. But this one is 99.7. It means it's a defect. Customer will reject it, right? Then you make another piece, and another piece is exactly 100.0 grams. Another one is 100.01. There's another one, 99.97 or 99.92. So there are proper variation or natural variation in the process, which is okay. But then what will happen? We are looking at 99.7. Then suddenly you have 102 grams. Then you have 99.4, then you have 107, then you have 99, then you have 102, then you have 107. You see what's happening? Too much variation. So too much variation is bad, all right? I just want to make sure that we understand what is variation, right? hope that everyone has good health and everyone, your family members are in good situation, good health, and may they stay the same. But when you go to hospital and you look at the patient's vital signs, especially the heartbeat, you see the heartbeat is going like this, right? Doctors are fine, everything is okay, no problem. But once it starts going like this, that's when all right, that's when nurses come in. That's when doctors running in. That's where they have to actually treat the patient. Something is going on, something is happening, it's critical. So that is the variation we are talking about, because there are limits. So if you're within the limits, you're okay. But as soon as you're going outside the limit, there are things happening. That's called variation. All right. So is too much variation okay, or less variation okay? I'm using the sign language. All right. That's how we remember things, and that's how it makes sense. Hopefully you're looking at the video as well. Those who are just joining through audio, I'm sorry for that. Hopefully next time we'll have you join on video as well. So do you understand what is the variation? A quick question to you to understand variation, right? You guys like coffee or tea in the morning, right? Some of you may go only for juice. So what is the taste of your coffee? I mean, those who do it by themselves, or those who get it from someone, like let's say some family members make it. Or if you go to this, Abdul Rahman right away mentioned inconsistency. So the taste of the coffee or tea is not consistent. Sometimes it's too strong, maybe. Sometimes it's less strong. All right. Okay. Now, the other thing is, what those who go to specific coffee shop, like, maybe you go to Dunkin' Donuts, you go to Starbucks. How is the coffee taste for you? Is it same? Is it different? Same each time, different, same, different, consistent based on their brands. Exactly, yes. So see, those international brands and those who are more mature, they have less variation. Most of the time, the taste is same. You know why? There's one word, standard. They have a standard spoon, so they know exactly how much coffee to put in. They weigh the amount of water they have to put in. They get a specific same temperature. They are getting your hot water. So they have standards exactly. When they proper these SOPs, standard operating procedures, the standards that they have made up, and they train their people, their employees on those standards, that's where most of the time they get the same kind of coffee. All right. Okay, yeah, that's true. Those who drink coffee, they know the difference, others won't. I know some people, they are very, very sensitive about when it comes to their juices or drinks, right? Even I had one student, and she would only drink tea, green tea, in a see-through cup. If it's not see-through cup, she won't drink her tea. So it has to be in a see-through cup. Same goes with some others as well. They know exactly the taste and the sugar, and if it's coffee's burned, right? So yes, people are sensitive about it. Anyway, so that's basically what we are talking about from Lean Six Sigma perspective. So we understand on the Sigma level itself, right? So apart from Sigma level, we are talking about our defects per million opportunities. So the lower the Sigma level is, the higher the number of defects you have. So when you are 3 Sigma, it's 66,000 defects. When you're 2 Sigma, it's 308,000 defects. When you're 1 Sigma, it's 500,000 defects, right? Now, I want you to imagine this. You are working, or you have your coffee, or let's say pizza shop, and you are making this pizza for your customers. Your process is 1 Sigma. You know what does that mean? 1 Sigma means any customer who orders a pizza, first pizza that you start making, it goes bad. Either you burn it, too much salt, or something goes wrong, and you have to make another one, which will be the right one. So it's 50%. So every pizza that you make, you have to make 2 pizza for it, because the first one goes bad. I mean, that's what the 1 Sigma means. And that means 40%, more than 40% of your revenue will go into your cost of poor quality. All right, exactly. So now what the issue is there? Maybe too much variation in different settings, different things. How can you control the variation? Well, one of the easy way is come up with standards. All right. One of the way to make standard is automation. So come up with an automated tools. Now, if you go to these pizza shops, you see how they are making their pizza. The oven and the grill actually goes, the movable grill goes in the same speed. The speed don't change regardless of what kind of pizza you have, either if it's a small, medium, large, or whatever the style is. So based on the standard they come up with and based on the temperature they have, each dough has to stay a specific amount of time in the oven. And that's when you get your pizza cooked, right? So they come up with standard, and that's basically, of course, you have to do some struggle there. You have to work on some experiments, come up with your best standards and carry on, all right? So that's how you actually reduce the variation. Now, the other thing which fixes your Lean Six Sigma is your mean. So we're talking about the weight of this mobile. Now, imagine that the average, what's supposed to be the average? What's supposed to be the mean when you deliver, for your production house? I hope you remember my requirements as a customer. It was, what was the requirement of the weight for the mobile? 100 grams. Thank you, Hunaida. Yes, 100 grams plus minus 2. Thank you, Wakas. So what should be the mean? So the question is basically when developing your standards, you are on, we'll talk about that in a few minutes, all right? So when you're developing your standards, most likely you're in improve phase. Right now, I'm just giving a gist of how Lean Six Sigma works and the basics. So that's what we're talking about, almost like all stages. But when you actually do it, see, right now, we assume the problem is with the standard. But what if the problem is not with the standard? And you're right away fixing the standard. That's basically what we do. That's basically our approach towards problems. We don't go and identify the root cause, but we go to solve the problem. And that's basically where the issues are. We try to fix it, but and at the end we find out, oh, what we fixed was not the problem, because the problem is still there. The issues are still there. The defects are still there. So what we have to do is we have to go and go phase by phase. So once you identify the root cause and you find out the problem is with the standard, then you go and in improve phase, you fix the standard, okay? I see some numbers, 99.4, 99.4. Okay, 99 or 99. Wakas said 99, okay. Why not 100? 100 is your target, then plus 2 grams minus 2 grams, right? So if I stay at 100, isn't that good? By the way, guys, there'll be attendance, all right, which is part of your communication, all right? So the chat. Also, later on, a couple of times we'll ask your full name. So that will be telling us your attendance, right? So those who may leave, in some time, don't complete the 2 hours, you'll not become certified. So stick around. You need to complete your training so you become certified, right? And also, I think it's more about knowledge as well. All right, so Johnny said 100. Okay. Here is another concern, and that's a little bit critical discussion, which goes into, sometimes black belt, because black belt is more statistical analysis are involved. You have a raw material you're using for this mobile, right? But what if your raw material, imagine that your mobiles are made of gold. All right. Now, 1 gram of gold is how much? It's like 250, 200 lakh. It's more than 250 riyals, by the way. All right. So 1 gram, yeah, okay, 240, 250, something like this. So if you are producing your mobile, and imagine if it's a different kind of raw material though, all right? So that means it could be even expensive, more than that. But anyway, let's stick to gold. So if you are producing all your mobiles at 100 grams, your customers will be happy, right? Because no defects, right? It should be within plus minus 2 grams. So between 98 and 102 grams. But imagine that if you produce all your mobiles at 99 grams, all your mobile at 99. So at 99 grams, will your customer be happy? Well, they have to be. No, they have to be, because your range is what? It's between 98 to 102 grams. So if you're giving all the mobiles at 99 grams, it doesn't go below 98. That's fine. It's good. But what happened to you? You are saving 1 gram of gold, right? It's your cost reduction. Imagine you're making 1 million mobiles a year. So 1 million gram a year, multiply that by 250. You can do the math. See what's happening? Yes, Rawad, it is within the quality range. So we are talking about 98 to 102 grams. But now what does that mean? When you get a range, all right, that's where I want to get with you. So when you get a customer requirement, the middle doesn't have to be the mean. Middle doesn't have to be the average. Sometimes you have to go on a lower side or maybe on a higher side because of the process, because of the cost reduction, because of the raw material you're using. All right. So that's basically where you actually have to work out on either, it doesn't have to be in the middle, but you have to be careful that your process has a narrow variation. If it's a narrow variation, you will stick even at 99 grams, you will not go below 98. But imagine that your variation is 2 grams or 1.5 grams. Then for sure, if you set up your system at 99 grams, you will go below 98. You will have defective items. So that's where the rework and all those things will come in, and you may have to spend some money. So you need to be careful and need to look into making sure that if you're doing it in the right way. So if it's 99, how do I know I will sell the same quantity? No, it's not about the quantity. Your customer has ordered you, for example, let's say 1,000 pieces or 2,000 pieces. Your requirement, your customer requirement is that it's a range within 98 to 102 grams. So that's the customer requirement. If you are 99 grams, it's acceptable. All right. If you're 101 gram, you're acceptable. Because remember, it's average, right? So you may get a piece which is 98.2 grams, and you may get a piece which is 100.2 grams. So somewhere, the average, you have to make sure that it's within the range that you agree with the customer. All right. So that's basically what it's supposed to happen. All right. So that's now you understand the variation. Less variation is what you need, and the mean. So the mean should be in the right place based on your process, right? It doesn't have to be in the center, but in the right place based on your process. Exactly, Hazina. Whatever you agree with the customer, that's your permissible range. All right. So so far we talk about lean tools, right? Okay. Or sorry, we talk about Six Sigma basics. Are we clear with the lean, with the Six Sigma part? We understand? Type in yes, no. Are we good? Johnny said yes. Abdurrahman said yes. Gary said yes. Rawad, yes. Okay, good. So now I'll talk about something on lean, and then we'll get to our slides, all right? So I want to develop our understanding in the first half of our session, which is in the first 1 hour. And then, we can go through the slides in the second half. So what we are talking about here now with the lean, I've seen some of you mention waste. Lean is called muda in Japanese. All right. So now you guys learned about a Japanese word, and I think there are a couple of more coming up. So muda is waste. Now, but what is waste? If you think about it, waste is something that is extra. The two levels of definition on waste, all right? Anything extra is waste. So those who have 2 cars, 3 cars, require only 1. The extra car require extra efforts. It require extra cost, extra license fee, all right? So all that is there. So I'm not sharing screen, by the way. I'm not sharing slides, all right? I'm just going with the introduction to lean right now. So we're talking about waste is anything extra, all right? Now imagine wherever you're living, all right? So you have house, 3 rooms, 5 rooms, all right, or duplex. I want you to think if it's double the size, of the house that you have right now. You do some cleaning in your house, right? I mean, over time. You have some help as well, right? You have your family members, sometimes kids do that as also. But imagine if the house is double the size, you don't need it, by the way, but let's say if it's double the size, how much more efforts you have to put in to keep it clean, to maintain it, right? Double the amount, maybe you need more domestic help, right? So you need maybe 4 times exactly, all right? So, with the dust storm, with all these things happening, all right, it's crazy. So yes, you need more efforts, more time, more money maybe, all right? So is this extra space waste? Most likely, yes, all right? Extra cars, more than what you need? Maybe yes, all right? So anything extra is a waste, right? Apart from that, now that's the level 2 definition, right? So the level 1 definition, let's come back to the basic. Basic is anything that is a hurdle in your performance, that is a waste. Anything that is a hurdle in your performance, right? So let's say we are doing our session right now. If we start getting noise in between, by the way, we have mute all participants, right? Because sometimes someone join in, by default, they have in their system, their mic is on. What will happen? Others will be disrupted, all right? Maybe what I'm talking about, I'll just, forget about it. By the way, the word was inverse proportion, right? So remember, I was telling you the word will come later on. So the link between the defects and the sigma level is inversely proportional. Okay, so coming back to the waste. Anything that is a hurdle in your performance is a waste, right? So it's our job to identify the waste in our process. By the way, those who, I gave example about pizza and coffee earlier. So most of you, I think you guys make some tea or coffee in your homes. So how is your kitchen like? Someone is like, oh, it's very clean. And I'm not talking about clean. What I'm talking about is where are the items. So Binish said it's comfortable, okay. Now, if this is my stove, I have to move all the way over there, to take, to bring a spatula or move all the way over there to get, some other raw material. Something is wrong, right? Yes, Vakas, thank you. It should be reachable, right? So if everything is within my arm's reach, can I get my items right away? Do I know where the items are? Or all the members who use the kitchen know where the items are? So that's basically what you're talking about. Sometimes that happens that you're looking for, and that happen mostly to men. They're looking for a screwdriver or a wrench. They cannot find it. That happens to you guys? So then you go and buy a new one. And especially, by the way, I think let's relate to everyone, right? Even ladies. What happened to your mobile cables, chargers? You lose the cable, right? Not the charger itself, not the plug, but the cable itself. Then you go buy a new one, and then you find the old one. So now you have 2 cables. In fact, actually maybe 3 or 4, right? That's been happening again and again. That's waste, all right? So that's where you need to apply 5S, right? So we'll talk about 5S, on a quick route today. So there'll be a value to you guys on what are the lean tools or tools that you use to fix the waste, okay? Yes, Kaizen is also another tool that will help you to fix. So that's a lean tool also. Kaizen is again another Japanese word, which means continuous improvement. We improve again and again, right? We will run, inshallah, a separate session on Kaizen. It also has 5 stages, right? So we'll have a separate session, but I'll give a quick intro on Kaizen today. It's limiting the non-value added activities. Exactly. So you are removing the non-value added activities from your process. That's basically you're removing the waste from the process, right? That's what you want to do. And that's where you become lean. Someone mentioned earlier fat-free. So that's basically what we're talking about. Lean process means a process without fat, without any hurdles, without any waste in the process itself. All right. So the process become more clean. Now, for example, those who opened their account about, more than 10, 15 years ago, all right, in the audience. I know we have mix of the audience. You remember those, 7, 8 pages of the form that you have to fill to open account? And what do you have to do now? Scan your card, 2, 3 items, one form, one page. That's it, right? It's very quick, all right? So moving from those 7, 8 pages to one page, or even not even a page, it's just a form with 2, 3 items to fill in, and that's it. That's basically how you make your process from being, with full of hurdles, with full of steps, to lean. All right, very less steps. Whatever is not needed, we don't need to do it, right? So that's basically what we are looking at. All right, guys, so let me get back to the slide, and that's a quick introduction to lean. What is lean? All right, and we'll talk about some of the tools as well on how to fix your process, right? Now, one thing, automation, yes, Samahir, exactly. So everyone, please type in your correct name you want on certificate. By the way, we'll copy the chat, so we'll find out your names. If we still have issue, we'll talk to you later on, all right? So please type in your proper full name that you want on certificate. Those who are listening to me, please send your message to Mr. Muhammad Usman with your proper name, full name, so we can prepare a certificate as well, right? Okay. Those who are listening to me, please give me thumbs up. Thank you, Zubair. Thank you, Raymond. Thank you, Shiraz. We'll open the mic towards the end of the session, right? Or in fact, actually, I'll do that, in 2 halves. So in next 5 minutes, we'll do that. We'll ask you guys to ask any questions if you have, and then we'll take a quick 5 minutes break and we'll continue with our session, okay? So 5 minutes for me to furthermore give some information on what we are doing, and then we'll take your questions, okay? So let me share my slides again. So we talk about continuous improvement. Who will do it? Actually, employees will do it, all right? We will do it. We are responsible for the improvement in our organization. But how are we going to do it? So first, we need to understand what's happening, what's going on, right? Now, how much percentage of our tasks are really value added? We need to understand that, calculate that. And then again, who are our customers? We have internal, external customers. But what activities are value added activities? Well, first, whatever customer is willing to pay for it. They're paying to make this within 100 grams. That's a requirement. That's value adding activity to keep our weight within 100 grams. What else? If any step will move you towards completion, right? That's also a value adding activity, right? We are making our coffee. If I don't put in coffee, will I ever complete my coffee? I will never complete my coffee. So in order to get my objective done, that activity itself is a value added activity. What else? Customer is willing to pay for it. It moving us towards completion, and do it right the first time. If I do something and I do it wrong and I have to do it again, that is non-value added activity or the process. So I have to go and identify why I have to do it again. So that's basically what we need to look into. All right. We need to identify whatever the process, whatever the area where you have problem, what do you have there? Okay. Then we talk about some of the biggest challenges your department facing, which means the problems that you have. Getting the best people to work on those challenges. So right people, right team you have to select. I'm talking about right Lean Six Sigma team. And giving people these tools and resources that they will use to fix or they will use to work on. For example, they should be aware of, they understand, they have the knowledge, right? The key element that you want to do is, or the objective is to make your organization more effective and efficient. What do we mean by effective and efficient? That's the last for me before we take a quick break. So what do you think, guys? What is being effective and being efficient? Effectiveness means being result oriented. All right. So you're supposed to complete 100 mobiles, you complete 100 mobiles, right? I mean, that's your production. So that's your effectiveness, right? You're supposed to reach to the airport and you reach to the airport. That's being effective. All right. Achieve the goal, hit the goal. Yes. Being efficient means you make this 100 mobiles, but with less cost, less time, less resources. All right. That's being efficient. So you want to make sure that you become effective and efficient, and that's actually majorly the goal of a lot of organizations these days. That's what they want to do. All right. Okay, everyone. So that's up till now. Let's have 5 minutes for question answers, and we'll take 5 minutes quick break. All right. Anyone who wants to say anything, please raise your hand. Or you can, Mr. Usman or Slan, please. These are my moderators, so they can unmute you. If you have a question, you can ask. If there are no questions, then you can take a break, right? How are you, Mr. Nizar? Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Okay, so mobile is about to die. Okay, Adil, no problem. So yeah, try to see what you can do. Yeah, sure. Join back later, no problem. See, that's a problem we were talking about, right? So can we fix this with the Lean Six Sigma? We need to apply that, right? Okay, good. I work, remember I told you I'm senior lead implementer business continuity as well. So basically what you do is you prepare ahead of time. Yeah, that's right. But in case if my system will shut down, so to everyone, please come back using the same link. In 5 minutes, we'll be up and running again, all right? Unless if Zoom is down, that's a different story. But if something happens to my system, my laptop or my equipment, my devices, I'll be back up in 5 minutes, right? So that's basically the business continuity, let's say, ground rule that we put up, that if something happens and suddenly something shuts down, bring back in come back in 5 minutes to the same link, just to update you, right? And that remind me, Adil, thank you for that. All right, so seems like there are no questions right now. Let's take our quick 5 minutes break, everyone. Okay. Do we have from, okay, Zubair, you have a question. Mr. Usman, can you ask Zubair, can you unmute him? And then Sugandha also has a question. Just in case, if you cannot unmute or something is wrong, please send your message to Mr. Muhammad or to myself. You can send us message, type in the message, and we can do that, right? Okay, seems like Mr. Muhammad is having difficulty to having you guys to talk. But anyway, let's
well, I tried to, but I'm not able to, turn their mic on. So they don't have any.
That's fine. So just type in the question, right? So Zubair, Sugandha, please type in your question, send a message.
If somebody has any kind of question regarding the whole topic, so you can just send me a message in my profile. So of course you can convey that.
All right, thank you. All right, so that's how we'll carry on with this. Yes, Binesh, I will give a brief on Greenbelt as well, right? Yeah, again, just a reminder for those who did not type in their full name. So please type in your full name. That'll be part of your kind of like attendance, all right? And we'll use that for your names. Just for my understanding, how many of you, since Binish, you asked, how many of you want to go for Greenbelt certifications? Okay, so I can see some may want to go for it. All right. Yeah, the green belt is paid, by the way. Green belt is not a free session. Okay, it's 32 hours training. Green belt and black belt, and of course, master black belt, those are paid sessions. Even yellow belt is paid, but I don't recommend yellow belt. All right. I recommend directly to go for the green belt. So we have Sabah, you have a question? Can you unmute Sabah? Let me see if I can do it myself.
No, I don't have a question. It's just I was just saying I have an interest to go for the green belt.
Okay, you need to be a little louder, please.
No, I was just saying that I'm not having any question right now. I was just interested in going for the green belt.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. All right, guys. So yeah, 5 minutes. We'll see you back in 5 minutes. Okay. All right, everyone. Welcome back. So we'll go ahead and start now with our second session. So before I start, any questions? Okay. All right. So here we are going to. I'll share my slides again. Okay, can you see it? All right, good. So we understand the basic of what is lean, right? It's waste. We need to find out where the waste come from, and of course, try to remove that. And then we talk about Six Sigma, right? So which is based on your number of defects in the process. The more defects you have, the lower sigma level you have, all right? And once you know your sigma level, you can actually further work out on identifying why you have defects and then improve it or fix it. All right, so a question, how do you suggest to implement these normal maintenance activities other than the production? Okay, so that's a good question. Thank you, James. As I told you earlier that I'll talk about in service industry and production industry. Can you apply Lean Six Sigma in both areas? Yes. Why? Because it's a problem-solving methodology and a problem in both areas. Now, what kind of problems do we have in, let's say, maintenance areas? It's a recurring problem, recurring tickets. Number of tickets are too high. So can you fix, I mean, this is the problem now, right? Recurring tickets. So can you fix it with the Lean Six Sigma? Yes. Basically, what I want to identify is I want to identify the root cause of why we have recurring tickets. And by the way, I've done many projects, virtual projects on those, especially with IT groups, all right? So basically what you're looking at is where the recurring incidents are happening. And based on those, once you fix that, the top, let's say, 20% of problems which are giving you 80% of the tickets. So that's basically one of the things you can do, right? And that's, again, you'll see that Pareto principle, 80-20 principle coming up in a few minutes. So you can apply through that. And again, one of the other problem in service industry is customer complaints. So you need to go back and look into why and what the complaints are and then fix those, right? Now, so sometimes that will happen that you may start a project and you find out, oh, nothing improved. The reason is because your root cause analysis somewhere went wrong. That can happen, all right? So what do? Normally, if you start with a Six Sigma implementation with being a proper team in place, so you need to do it right the first time. Normally, what we recommend is to have a black belt or master black belt as a coach working on projects. And that's, I would recommend to every one of you. The first 3 projects, if you have a coach working with you, after the 3 projects, you will become pro. So you don't need any coach later on because you know exactly how things are happening, how the tools are working. So that's basically what the idea is and the concept is when you start working on it. And also sometimes even with the coach, you find out that you did a wrong root cause analysis because maybe the data was not right. It was not accurate data, or it could be anything else went wrong. So when do you find out that something was not right? When you are in improve phase and you try to find out, or you're in experimentation and your experiments don't work. It doesn't bring in the value that you're supposed to have. So that's when you find out, and you have to go back and again look at your data and work on it. Rarely that happens that someone's problem is not right. You know, in defined phase, they did not do it in the right way. And by the way, that happened, right? So if you're working in a plant which is from 1984, that means if you look into the equipment aging, that will be one of the part right away that you consider. And then, you know, what about the changeover? What about transition to the new products and the new equipment that you're bringing in? Anyway, there's so many things that are there, right? So we can talk one-on-one, all right? We'll get into more detail on that one, right? Make sure that I believe almost all of you have registered on Eventbrite. If you have not registered, please do contact me or contact Mr. Usman, all right, to make sure that we have your email, name, number. So either you can contact us or we can contact you back, right? All right, so remember, before going on the break, the keywords are you want to become more effective and efficient. Okay, how do you do that? Of course, you want to do that with the help of your team. Right people in place, equip them, make sure that they're trained, and you carry on from there. So Lean Six Sigma is a data-driven approach. If you ask me like, hey, I want to implement Lean Six Sigma, Adnan, can you help? I'll say, yes, I can help. But my question, do you have data? And you say, no, we don't have data. Then, okay, that's fine, but we can collect data. And you tell me, no, we don't want to collect data. We cannot collect data, you know, whatever the reason is, confidentiality or the process is in a way. But if we cannot collect data, I'm sorry, I cannot do Lean Six Sigma with you, because the backbone of Lean Six Sigma is the data. Okay, you have to have data there. All right, so then no need to share your emails here. It's just that we want to make sure that you are connected with us, right? So if you have not done it, then share it with Mr. Usman directly, or you can send me WhatsApp, all right? So my team will share my WhatsApp here and my email, and Mr. Muhammad Usman's email and his WhatsApp. So you can send WhatsApp directly, all right? No issues. All right, so basically the data, where data come from? Intuition, what we think, what's happening, what's going on. We bring in people, we do some brainstorming, collect some data, we do the proper charting, graphing based on the data, then we get into more detail of statistical analysis, then we do our inferential statistics, where we can also find out what is happening, what's going on, what the demand will be for the customer, right? So you can prepare, you can do some analysis, build some analogies, and then predict about your complaints that you may have or defects that you may have, so you can fix it even before it's happening. So data is the key that you have to have, and then you carry on from there, okay? Analytical maturity will happen over time. So there's a very important concept called Y is a function of X. So Y, if they are symptoms, then X's are the root causes. If Y is my cup of coffee, then I need to do some function to my inputs, to my X's. So if I want to get my cup of coffee, everyone, please tell me, what do I need to do? So if I need my good cup of coffee, what are the X's? What are the inputs do I need? So I can do some process on it. I can do some function on it. So what are the X's? Yes, Rawad, exactly. We cannot understand the root cause without analyzing data. Accurate data, right? So please keep that in mind. So you have coffee beans, milk, raw material, okay, that means water. Johnny says you have to have a plan to make a coffee. Okay, I have to have a mug. Okay, thank you, Ziad, very important. Coffee machine, thank you, Binish, all right? So we need to have a boiler. So all these are important that you want to have. Now, a question, if I have all my inputs perfect, will I get a perfect cup of coffee? Adnan says yes, Binish said no, Wakas said no, Arslan said no. Remember, so the wise function of X means I am going to do some function to my x's to get my y. So now the function means the SOP, standard operating procedure. If I have all the perfect x's, but I do it in the right way, something may go wrong. So I have to apply a proper function to it as well, right? So it's not only just the x's, but also the function part that I need to pay attention to, and that will help me to get my proper y. Okay, so that's basically what it is. Together with the inputs and with the standard operating procedures, I can get a very good output. So when we talk about the Lean Six Sigma, Lean will reduce the waste by streamlining the process, by making it more efficient, whereas your Six Sigma will help you control the variability, and that's where you will actually solve the problems. And Lean Six Sigma, it's Lean is the efficiency part, Six Sigma is your effectiveness part. That's where the both combination will actually make it more effective and efficient. By the way, there are two different concepts. Six Sigma was introduced by Motorola. GE took over. They kind of like, matured it. They expand the word or spread the word out, expand the methodology as well. All right. Earlier, they didn't have defined phase. So they came up with defined phase. And Lean came up, Lean is introduced by Toyota production system. All right. It's Toyota engineers, Japanese experts. They came up with Lean tools. So earlier in the beginning, there are two different concepts, two different methodology, but of course, getting to the same result, which is the process optimization. Then experts, they combine them together, right? Now it has become a lethal combination. It works very well. So before going forward, let's say someone asked me, here we have Nizar asked me, like, want to implement Lean Six Sigma. So please tell us, what do we do first? Shall we apply Lean first or Six Sigma first? What do you think, guys? Shall we implement Lean tools or Six Sigma tools first? Oh, mashallah, right away, I can see Lean. James, Ziad, Umar, Muhammad, Jani, okay, Lean. Oh, wow, all right. So you guys are so much impressed with the Lean concept, huh? So this is how it will happen. Safa, I will visit your plant or visit your office or factory, and I will look into, I need to do my assessment first. This is the first step. I will do my assessment. And if there is visible waste I can see, then I can apply Lean tools first. Okay. If I can see visible waste, I can see that, right away, there is something wrong, I will apply Lean tools first. Most likely 5S, all right, or Pokayoki. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But if I don't see visible waste, I mean, things are okay. Your factory is not that bad. It's clean. It's okay. It's put up in a right way. Then I may not apply Lean tool first. I will start with a Six Sigma approach. I will go with the defined phase. Then and then part of my remember, define, measure, analyze. So in analyze phase, I may identify that there are waste hidden in the process. It's not visible, but it's there somewhere. All right. And then I will go in improve phase, and that's in improve phase, I will implement the Lean tools. So the criteria, James, is that if I can see waste right away, I will go apply Lean tools. All right. I start with 5S and then maybe do some Pokayoki and so forth, or maybe some Kaizen as well. But if I don't see clear waste in the process, it's hidden somewhere, there is your high COPQ, high cost of poor quality. It is a pain point for the management. Hey, something is wrong. That means there is a waste, but it's hidden. So then we go with the Lean Six Sigma, we go with the MAC methodology. And once we identify the waste through our analyze phase, then we go and implement it in improve phase. So your Lean tools will be part of your implementation in implement phase. Okay. So that's how it happens. So the answer to the question, like, what do we apply first? Answer is, it depends. It depends on your factory, your process, your business, how you're working, how visible is the waste. Okay. So that's basically what it is. Clear, everyone? Okay, clear. Noor said clear. Iman said clear. Sanya, yes. Wakas, yes. Okay, very good. So moving on with this, here we talk about Six Sigma versus Lean. All right. And just an analogy here that when we talk about 99%, what does that mean in terms of sigma? It means 3.8 sigma, right? It may mean unsafe drinking water for 15 minutes each day, or one incorrect surgical operation out of 100. Right, that's 1% defect means. But 99.99967% means 6 sigma, which means one unsafe minute of drinking water in 7 months, or 3.4 incorrect surgical operation out of a million. And you can see the difference between 1%, but it's not even full 1%, right? So that's the difference when it comes to the defects per million, all right, with the 6 sigma methodology. So lean helps us to reduce waste, whereas 6 sigma help us to reduce variation, all right? Of course, we get into more detail once we actually go and apply that. So here's some history. Lean was introduced by Toyota Production Systems in 1940s, whereas 6 sigma was introduced in late 80s, or early 80s by Motorola and enhanced by GE, okay? So then we carry on and we talk about what is required to sustain this world-class company, or to improve the quality of the organization or the process optimization. It's majorly people who work on the process and they want to make sure the system is available. They do things in a way that it becomes more systematic. Not everyone will work in silos. Everyone will be working in a proper way where they learn, they have the tools, and they apply the tools to the process. Again, go with the proper flow, which is the MAC methodology. Again, remember, Motorola or GE did not come up with new tools. They just come up with tools and arrange them in a proper way, right? So it's a systematic approach, but it's data-driven. So again, if you don't have data, you cannot apply Lean Six Sigma. You may go with a different approach. Maybe you go with A3PS, A3 problem solving, right? Or some other approaches that you have, but not Lean Six Sigma approach. So a quick one on the roles. I talked about earlier on what belts you have. So you have white belt, which is basically you understand what is Lean Six Sigma. You have actually a little bit more than just a basic understanding, which is what we are doing today. About 2 hours and you become white belt certified. Mostly white belts are free, just like what we are doing. It's value adding to the community. And of course, introduction to the organization and to the other belts as well. Yellow belt is about 3 days, about 20 hours training. It's more theoretical training. It's more detailed introduction to the MAC and the tools. But I don't recommend it because it's theoretical, all right? And in the job market, doesn't have that much value compared to the one that who has a green belt. So if I'm hiring someone with a green belt or someone with a yellow belt, I will hire the one with the green belt straight away, right? Green belt is a management level certification. So those who know PMP, those who know ITIL, so it's the same level, right? Even those who are PMP certified, you can claim 30 PDUs when you become a green belt certified. Even you can claim 2 hours for the white belt certification, right? Those who are PMP certified, by the way. Then green belt is where you actually do a 30 to 32 hours of training, where you understand the MAC methodology in more detail, the tools, and you apply the tools. When we conduct our green belts, we do it with 2 projects. So one, you do it with me. So I'm guiding throughout the training. And then one you have to do as a final grade project. So you have to do along with the exam, which is open book exam. So someone was asking about the green belt. So for the green belt and black belt, you have to take an exam. That's when you, it's again, for green belt, it's 40 questions. Black belt is 100 questions. It's open book. You become certified once you complete your exam, pass exam with 65% passing marks, and you complete your project. For the green belt and black belt, both you have to do. It's virtual project. So not a real case project, which means you may not have real data. So you come up with the data, and most of the time you do it with the teams. So we'll make teams of 3 to 4, and you work as a team to complete your projects. All right. So this is basically what you do. You complete your training within 5 to 7 days. All right. Again, it depends on which model and which session are you joining. And then you can complete your project and your exam afterwards. All right. Some people, they take a week off and then they take exam. Some, they submit their presentation after 2 weeks. All right. So again, it depends on the team and how you're working. So there's no problem with that. Right. But from us, for me, I want to make sure that you understand everything which is part of the curriculum. you understand all the tools, how to implement it so you can run a project. That's basically my objective and our objective at Smart with the Cause for the green belts and black belts. For you, you want to make sure that you understand, and that's what you give us and you show us through your presentation, right? So what about Six Sigma in inventory management? So inventory, again, let's focus on any Six Sigma project that you do. And Girish asking about the hospitality. What is the problem? Problem in inventory management is either we have bad inventory management, we need to look for something and we never find it, or our min-max are all messed up. Anytime we need a specific spare part, it's not available because somehow someone did not order it in the proper way, or it did not order on the right time. And it takes 5 days to get it. And in these 5 days, our production is impacted and so forth. So, and then in hospitality industry, again, what is the problem? It's basically the complaints from the customers. So I will go and collect, like, let's say in last 6 months, what are the complaints? And that will tell me what are the problems. And now I need to focus on the problem. Now, for both of you, and actually for everyone, what we do, basically, our mindset is, let's go fix the problem. But this is not the right way for Lean Six Sigma. The Lean Six Sigma way is you do a proper documentation on 5 phases, which is define, measure, then analyze. So as you said, what is the solution? I cannot tell you solution right away. We need to go and collect some data. Remember, define, first of all, what is the problem itself? How big is the problem? Then you go and collect data, what's going on, what's happening, what is the process, what are the steps? The data that I will take to analyze will tell me the root cause, and that root cause will help me to come up with the solution. All right. So this is how actually you come up with. Our approach right away is, let's go fix things, right? And we go and fix it and find out, oh, it didn't fix, exactly how we wanted to do it. So we go back and fix something else. But with the Lean Six Sigma, when you go with the proper approach, you actually go and fix the problem as you understand the root cause. And then it's really fixed well. The very common example is about headache. When we have headache, what do? We go and take Panadol. But does it fix the headache for good? Well, if you keep getting it, that means, the root cause was not identified. Maybe it's your eyesight being changed, or maybe you're not having enough sleep. All right. It could be something else. So you need to go and identify the proper root cause and fix that one. All right. And then you carry on from there. A restructuring plan. No, that's good. But again, there is something called black belt level, which is ultimate level failure. Yes, that's why the root cause is important, right? Not just taking any kind of workaround. So there is DFSS, Design for Six Sigma, which is the Master Black Belt level. So if you are restructuring your organization, that's what you need to do. All right. So thank you, Noel. That's actually what I was getting to. So you need to look at the Design for Six Sigma, which means you are getting somewhere, you're building something new, but you're building it on the Six Sigma design. So it can be fixed, from the beginning, your design is going to work in a right way. It will be data-driven approach as well, and so forth. Okay. Anyway, we'll talk about that in more detail. All right. So just maybe we can have a separate session on this. All right. So after the black belt, you have master black belt. Master black belt guys are the one who are reporting to top management, most likely the general manager, maybe reporting to CEO. They're the one who will run the Lean Six Sigma program in the organization, right? And mostly they're the senior guys. They also train other employees in the organization and so forth. Then there is a champions training. It's not a belt, but it's top management. You need to tell them exactly what is Lean Six Sigma. Why are we doing it? So just like as I think some of you have seen, if James doesn't get support from his top management, he cannot really implement anything in the organization. Every step down the line, he will find hurdles. All right. Someone is saying like, why you are doing it. All right. So yeah, exactly. No way to get anything done. So you have to have top management support. So the champions training is normally a training where it's about 1 to 2 hours, where you tell them exactly how the program will run, why we are doing it, and what are the benefits. All right. So carrying on with this, and by the way, today, inshallah, you guys will all become white belt certified. So that's a good news. And hopefully we'll do that in a good way. And my core concern is that you get value out of these 2 hours and you learn. All right. So 7 waste. Now the waste we talked about earlier, lean, where the waste come from? The waste will come from, remember Tim Wood, all right? Transportation waste. You move items from one facility to the other facility. You're transporting them. Maybe there's a cost involved. Maybe it will fall somewhere. You damage your items. That's your transportation cost. Okay. So that's muda of transportation or waste of transportation, right? Again, remember Tim Wood. That's an easy way to remember the 7 type of or 7 areas where the waste come from. I is for inventory, and you just ask about inventory. Either you have too bad inventory, too much inventory, too less inventory. It could be any of those items. And because of that hurdle, your process is actually impacted. Then you talk about motion. So it's your personal motion. So I'm sitting here. My laptop is within my arm's reach. My mic is here. My camera is here. So everything is within my arm's reach. I don't have to get up, go over there and do something, and get up and go over there, do something. Like example I gave about the kitchen. So everything within your arm's reach will reduce your motion. Remember, the pizza example earlier I asked. So if you are making pizza all day long at your pizza shop, at the end of the day, how are you feeling? Fresh, tired, exhausted? So you need to reduce your motion as much as you can, because every motion means energy. All right. So you need to reduce your motion. And by the way, in some organizations, just simply restructuring the steps actually has saved a lot of money, a lot of energy to organizations. I'm talking about energy in terms of electricity as well, gas as well, right? So that's money also. Just simply you switch some of the steps. Okay, so then we talk about waiting. It's very simple. We are waiting for someone to show up so we can carry on with our work. One process is waiting for the other process to complete. It's a very common example with us where we are waiting for our customer to show up, or someone to show up in the presentation so we can start the presentation, right? So that's basically waiting. Then we have over-processing. Over-processing means we have more steps than what we need. Okay, so you guys give gifts to someone? The answer should be yes. All right. And I can share my address as well, right? You can send gifts too. All right. Okay, Wakas, you need to send some gift. So you have this gift pack. You wrap it up, right? But then you wrap another one. So the second wrap. Do you ever do that? Second wrap, third wrap? That's over processing. Extra steps that you should not do that, right? Only one wrap is enough. So that's extra wrap. Then you talk about, by the way, these guys who are doing into the shipping industry, they're the one who are doing it a lot, right? Because the first one is the cardboard, then they put one wrap, then the second wrap, then third wrap. It could be because of the cost value, or the insurance. But anyway, that's over processing. Why not have one kind of material with one wrap, and that should be enough. All right. So you need to think different way. So that's over processing. You have more steps to perform. Then you have overproduction. So you produce more than what the next step will take. Very simple example is when you're too hungry, you cook more. Or when you go to a restaurant, you order more than what you can eat. So that's overproduction. One process will produce way more than what the next process will take. By the way, that happened with some factories as well. Then one step is producing way too more than what we can ship to the customer. Then our warehouse is full, and our offices are full, and even our hallways or walkways are full with the products. All right, they're just laying here and there because we don't have place to put them anywhere. So that's basically overproduction. And then you have defects. The way we do things, we just do it wrong, so we have to do it again. So it's just because of multiple reasons. It could be no training. It could be, again, there are different root causes for these waste of happening. But these are the 7 areas of waste. By the way, new one is safety. So because of no safety or too much safety precautions, we may have some waste as well. Okay. All right. So everyone, I want you to type in Tim Wood, so you can remember the 7 type of waste. Please type in Tim Wood. Arsalan, Abdurrahman, Benish, Ziyad, Noel, Wakas, Tim Wood, right? Very good. This is transportation, inventory, M is motion, W is waiting, O is overproduction, then again O is overprocessing, and then D is defects. Okay. Rabi, Belinda, James, we can have inventory which are redundant. We should not have inventory which is redundant, yeah. But see, again, inventory management, again, you need to look into your process itself, how exactly and what we need. Some organizations implement min and max. So maybe that is what you need to require in your organization. Based on cybersecurity, you need to look into which tools, which items are redundant and non-redundant, again, based on the plant, age, right? So, okay, very good. So then that's Tim Wood, okay. That's some explanation. We'll share the details with you, or slides, so you can just simply go through, read them, different type of waste. I just gave a quick introduction on those. But one of the tools that you want to apply to fix the waste is 5S. How many of you know 5S? Type in yes, no. Ziad, no. Okay, so let me just do this for you. 5S. I'm looking for the introduction of 5S, whether it's in this slide or the other slide. Okay, it's not in this one, but anyway, I'll give you the introduction. So 5S, it stands for, and I want someone of you to type in the chat itself. They're Japanese names, but I'll give you the English names, all right? By the way, just to give you an idea, Japanese name is what? Siasi, Sietso, Shitsuki, all right? So it's just like this one. But in English, it's sorting. So you want to sort the items. So basically what you do, you go to your floor, all right, factory floor, let's say in your kitchen, in your home, you sort items. What do you want to keep it? What you don't want to throw it away. So you see something, you know, let's say used tissue, throw it away, right? So that's sorting, right? Sorting. Then you have straightening. What I need to put it in the right place. So where do I put my glass? It's always on my glass shelf, right? So I know exactly where my glasses is. So that's straightening. Right thing in the right place. Okay, where do I find my clicker? It's always in the first pocket of my laptop bag, right? So that's sorting, then straightening. Right thing in the right place. Straightening and then shining. Do the dusting, do the cleaning, you vacuum the place, do the mopping for the place, all right? So that's your shining. Now, with shining, what will happen is, imagine that if something is dripping somewhere, water, oil, whatever, right? So you can see exactly what's happening, right? So with the shining, it helps you to keep the place healthy, clean, nice. It will help you to identify if something is wrong, all right? So, by the way, with these three, sorting, straightening, shining, if you apply in your place, I want you to imagine a house full of kids. Hopefully you already have that, or at your relatives or at your brothers or sisters, and you drop your keys somewhere in kids' room where they have all the toys everywhere. What happens? Is it easy to find your keys? That's basically when you and everyone else start applying 5S. You know, everyone start doing the sorting and straightening and shining so that the right thing you can identify and you can find the keys. And that's basically what happens sometimes, right? When you do the cleaning, you find your missing item. So that's right. So that's basically sorting, straightening, shining, then standardizing. So you make a standard, right? Every day, 6 p.m. we do sorting. 6:30 we do straightening. 7 we do shining, right? So that's basically become a standard of your office or of your home, right? It becomes a routine that every day we have to do the vacuum, you know, at this time, or in the evening or nighttime or in the morning, whatever. So there's a standard. So you apply the standard. And then number 5 is sustaining. Someone has to make sure that you are applying the other 4S, right? So I remember when we were kids, my elder brother and I were doing this 5S, not knowing that it's called 5S, but exactly the same thing. And our mother would come and make sure that we are doing it. If we don't do that, we can go out and play. So that was sustaining. That's, with the punishment or with the reward, someone has to make sure that are we sustaining. Is it clear, guys? Do you understand what is 5S? In organizations, by the way, there are 5S teams. They go and look at your 5S implementation, and at the end of the year, the points will be calculated towards your reward and recognition. All right. So that's basically 5S implementation. Okay. So let me share my screen again. That's one of the tool. Quickly, I'll talk about Pokayoki. Pokayoki means mistake proofing, all right, or error proofing. So it's again one of the lean tools. Sometimes it's very simple, easy. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you apply Pokayoki so that you don't have mistake even by mistake. Don't have mistake even by mistake. So which means your door, wherever you're sitting, does that open outside or inside or both ways? So most likely it don't open outside. It just only opens inside, right? Sometimes in the restaurant, what they do, they actually have a glass window because the door opens both ways. So maybe the waiter will come from the other side or someone is coming from there. So they actually put a window so you can see through it. That's a mistake proofing. Even by mistake, you cannot just simply take the item and hit someone else. Your fuel tank. I think in Europe, what they have different nozzle that you use to put in the fuel and you put in for diesel. So if it's a diesel nozzle, it will not fit into the fuel tank. So that's even by mistake, you cannot make a mistake. By the way, again, some of my old friends remember that what used to happen when we had CPUs, computers. Power supply was a very common thing that we have burned. I think I've burned a lot, right? Why? Because we plug in 110 to 220 or 220 to 110. You remember those good old days? All right. So now it's a different plug. It's a 3-phase switch, which is 220 now. So 110, you cannot plug in there, right? By the way, I've seen one engineer, right? What they did, they had this power cable and they actually cut off the 3 plug-in and they attached the 2-phase plug. And now they put this into 220 and they burn whatever the equipment was. So anyway, those who want to burn things, they will burn things, right? So be careful about it. All right, so that's Pokayoki. It's called mistake proofing. You come up with techniques, you come up with simple, easy way on how to do things so that it will not impact your process, right? So it will, you will not have mistake even by mistake, okay? All right, so let me get on with our next item. Now let's talk about the Mac in an overview, all right? It doesn't take much time. You already understand good enough about the Lean Six Sigma. So here we are talking about define phase, all right? So as you get into define phase, there are critical tools in each of the phase, right? So I'll just give a quick introduction to the project charter. Project charter means you talk about business case. Why are we doing it? Why is this project important? So majorly, you talk about because it's linked with the top management. It's a part of the strategy of the organization or helping you to achieve the vision of the organization. It has to be linked with the strategy. Now, remember everyone, if you work on a Lean Six Sigma project and it doesn't fit into your organization's strategy, all right, one way or other, it doesn't add value to the vision of the organization, most likely your project is going to fail. You reach to maybe measure phase or analyze phase. Most likely the improvement may cost money or may cost time, and the top manager will say, hey, you know what? Now forget about it. Do something else because it doesn't add value. So make sure you work on the problems that are linked with the business strategy and vision of the organization. So you write down the problem statement. A simple problem statement is VDC 1 and 2 are not working into its maximum capacity of 8 drops per day. There are many factors affecting slab casting activity, preventing it to work on optimal condition. Let's make it more simple. So what kind of a problem statement you may have? I can tell you a problem statement such as, we are having customer complaints, or customers are complaining, or even better, right? Let's talk about the time frame. So problem statement should start with time. So for last 6 months, 20% of customers are complaining about our ABC service, which is impacting our revenue by $2 million. You see how we're talking about? So time frame, for how long it's happening, what is happening, ABC process. We talk about 20% of the customers, and we talk about $2 million. That's the defined phase. That's a critical element. Problem statement is telling you exactly what's going on. And imagine if you take this problem statement to your top management, with $2 million, do you think they will reject you to work on this project? And also to help you to prioritize. Well, by the way, maybe there is another project with $4 million. Even better, right? Work on that one. So that's how you need to work out on it. So let me get back to the project charter. So it has a problem statement, a goal statement, how much you want to improve. All right. So reduce the customer complaint by 10%. Something like this. If you already know the sigma level, very good. Otherwise, you have to find out what is the sigma level. When you get to the measure phase, you will find out who are the team members. You have to have a champion, the sponsor of who's most likely a director or a vice president. And then, of course, you have a green belt, who's a project manager, and the team members. Team members, they may be belt, they may not be any belt. It's a good idea to train them as a white belt at least, so they know the concept and they understand why we are doing it. Because sometimes with the Lean Six Sigma program, some team members, they build this concept of you being a policeman and try to identify their problems so you can fire them. So a very clear communication is required. It's highly recommended, of course, to have one of your belts as your champion, or one of your belts, one of your black belt or master black belt as your coach. Then you have scope, what is in the project, what is out of the project, what's the start of the process, end of the process. Remember, you cannot fix the whole organization in one go. You have to focus on one by one process, right? Customer complains about ABC process or ABC product, so work on that process, right? You cannot work on the whole organization. What are the early benefits, as financial benefits that you are looking for? You can do some estimation. Then as you carry on, you come up with an estimated time frame for each phase, and you put up your status, right? By the way, the green belt projects are about 3 to 4 months long. Black belts are about 8 months to 1 year long, all right? In terms of value, green belts will give you about $100,000 savings, about, right? Somewhere around that range. Black belt projects are giving you about $1 million benefits, all right? So, and green belt projects, you work only on one problem and goal statement, whereas black belt, you may have one problem with a couple of sub problems and maybe sub goals as well, all right? So the green belt limited to one department, black belt is working with multiple departments. So you see the scope of the black belt is a little bit bigger. Of course, it requires more data as well, and you get into more enhanced statistical tools also. So you need to come up with SMART goal, which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time framed. One of the tools that you have in your defined phase is SIPOC. Some call it CPOC, same. It basically means what is the process you have, 5-6 steps on high level. Then what are the outputs for overall steps, overall process, who are the customers who are getting that output. And then what are the inputs that you require for the steps to perform, and then who are the suppliers giving you those inputs. It's called SIPOC, right? It's basically a process mapping that you do, but on a linear way, and it's on very high level, right? Just to give an idea, in green belts, you normally pick, based on data, 1 or 2 steps, and you get into more detail. So you go and zoom in, and you actually develop a more detailed process map. Then you collect data on those steps, and then you further carry on with analysis. So it's very simple to say that let's find the root cause, but there is a proper approach to find the root cause itself, all right? So that's how the detailed process map, swim lane view. How many of you have done or no process mapping? Exactly, with belts and no belts, you need to understand the concept and do it in the right way. The flow is very important because if you just jump between the flow, that will also create problem, right? Okay, good. So yeah, process map is simply whatever the steps are, you just do that in a graphical way, all right, how we are doing it. Very good. So some of you guys have done the process mapping. So important concept is voice of customer. Basically, that will lead or give you the direction which way you're supposed to head. So you have a process and you have a product and service, and then customers are giving you the feedback exactly what's happening, what's going on, what complaints they have, what is good about your product, what is bad about your product. And that is the data that you have to carry on and work towards your process optimization. Something maybe I want to fix, regarding this training. Okay, very good. For me, I think, I may want to add a video, right, part of this. But then someone will say, no, you know what? You as a customer, you will give me a feedback, later on, I will ask in a few minutes, but maybe your feedback is completely different. And it's not to add a video, but maybe something else. So that's basically what I need to focus on. As a customer, what is the voice of customer? A lot of companies, they don't have data, they don't collect voice of customer, or sometimes they have a voice of customer, but they misinterpret based on their understanding or what they want to do. And that's basically what the message goes to the top management. Hey, you know what? That's what the organization is telling us. HAZUP is more related to your safety, right? So here we're not talking about the safety. It's majorly about voice of customer, right? On all product on all levels. But the safety is one of the elements that you can put up. For example, as you can see here, what feedback you want to get from the customers. Quality of a product, what's going on, what's happening, defects, effectiveness, efficiency, the cost. You talk about the delivery, you talk about the service and safety. So that's where the safety will come in. How secure is that to use it, all right? How safe is for the employees to work on it, and so forth. And then corporate responsibility on how good is the environment, how good is the overall system working. So that's basically a different kind of voice of customer that you collect. There's also voice of employee, because that will tell you how good is the process. And there's also voice of profit. That is our voice of business, which is profit driven. It tells you if the business is doing good or bad. So if your profits are going low and zero customer complaints, do you think it's good? Most likely you're going to shut down the business, right? Because you're not doing it only to make a customer happy. You also want to make some profits as well, right? Okay, so then we talk about the measure phase. So measure phase is talking about your collecting reliable data, all right? Because if you do not define it, you cannot measure it. If you cannot measure it, you cannot control it. If you cannot control it, you cannot manage it. If you cannot manage it, you cannot improve it. At the end of the day, the data has to be there, and not just the data, but reliable and accurate data. All right. So there is one misconception or a problem when we go and collect data. Either you collect too much data or very less data, or you collect data in the wrong place. So that is what you have to make sure, that the data are giving you from input indicators, what's going on, what's happening. For example, in coffee, how much coffee do you put in there, right? How many grams? Then for how long you have to beat the coffee or heat the water. Then at the coffee, are the customers happy with your cup of coffee? So that's your output indicator. So you need to look at what kind of data are we looking at. Misconception of data. So you're asking misconception. What are the misconception of data, James? It's just that, if you define the problem in a wrong way, right? For example, let's say customers are complaining, or 20% customers are complaining. Then we get into what kind of, for example, let's say the next step, SIPOC. So we get into, we're doing wrong digital marketing, or maybe digital marketing is not giving us the good results. Then in digital marketing itself, we get into more detail and we collect data that, what posters we make. So let's say you find out the posters we make, it gives the wrong price. Eventually you want to fix this, right? So, but you find out that this is not the problem itself. The problem was actually something else. It was not about digital marketing itself. Even when we define the problem, it's not about the customer complaint, it's about our product quality. So it can mislead if you do things in a wrong way. So it starts from define phase to measure and analyze and improve. That every step you have to do it in the right way. All right. So normally, as I said, that when you work with experienced project managers on Lean Six Sigma, let's say 2-3 projects, you become pro yourself and you know exactly how to do things along the way. Okay, yeah, that's your problem, right? James, you talk about the equipment. And as I said, we can discuss that separately in detail on exactly what you're looking for and what you need to fix. Again, multiple ways on working on these. So how does the team select the right output indicators? Again, depends on what is the process itself, what is critical to customer, right? So we call it CCR, or customer critical requirements. Your focus has to be, what are we delivering to our customer? So you need to build up a baseline. Again, you collect some data, you find out what is the baseline, different charts, you understand the bell curve, you understand histogram, or this is here, we look at the Pareto. All right. So different charts will give you a good idea about how much variation we have, what's going on, what's happening. So we carry on from there. James, you're asking solution, and this is, I think, maybe third time you asked for a solution, my friend. Solutions are based on each problem, what the problem you have, and what the root cause you have. So maybe a solution for one company is different than what you have. So if you ask me a solution for your company, I need to look at into more detail of your company itself, all right? Your factory itself, what the issues are, what's going on, and then you can come up with a solution. So it's not like a one standard solution for everyone, right? Okay, so data collection. So we need to collect on identifying the data types. You have discrete data, continuous data. Discrete data basically is yes, no. You also have your continuous data with the decimal point. So the different type of data is required because you have different steps, different processes, and also you're going to do different type of financial analysis. So different data and different amount, quantity of data is required for different analysis. For example, I may require only 30 samples for continuous data, whereas I need 100 samples of discrete data, right? Again, it depends on the process and what we are working on. So you need to know a proper data collection plan. What are we going to collect? For how long? How much, right? Who will collect the data? What is the procedure of the data? So you have to be very careful about it, all right? And that's where you do a proper, accurate data collection. In analyze phase, of course, you go and analyze what's happening and what's going on. This is simple histogram, kind of like a Pareto chart, which is giving us, which items are affecting the most. So if I fix the first 2 or 3, I fix about 80% of my problem. 80-20 principle. What does that mean? 80-20, right? It's also called Pareto principle, which means 20% of our customers are giving us 80% of the revenue, or 20% of the issues are giving us 80% of the problems. Okay. So that's basically what we are looking at. Okay. And then here we talk about fishbone, which is one of the key tool that we use in our root cause analysis. Again, remember the problem that you have in the beginning, just like as I mentioned earlier, my wait for this mobile, right? Or my customer complaints, that is not the problem I'm taking to my fishbone. I actually deep dive and get into, it starts with very high level and get actually more narrow towards 1 or 2 items, and that is where I do my fishbone and identify why it's happening. You can also apply 5 whys, which is basically, why is this happening? Because of, let's say, no training. Why no training? Because we don't have budgets. Why no budget? Because management spend more time on production, whatever, right? So you do 5 whys as well, and that will also lead you to a root cause. And that's basically the root cause that you have to go back and fix it. Okay. Then you come up with the improve. That's basically where James, sorry, but your messages are distracting. So if you can stop. Okay. So here we are talking about improve phase. Now, what do we do in improve phase? So once we know the root cause, we bring in our team, all right, and that team is actually coming up with different ideas to that's a solution that you want to implement. Now you may come up with multiple, and there are different ways of idea generation. All right, I have a video, most likely I think we'll share that with you guys. It's about, I think, 5 or 6 different techniques, general brainstorming, and then there is 6 hats. All right, have you heard about 6 hats? Okay, there are different types. So you come up with different ideas, and then you find out which one is the best. So which idea you think, you guys, which idea you think is the best to implement? Let's say we are here 60 some people. If I ask each one of you, give me only one idea on how to improve our customer satisfaction, you will come up with many ideas, right? So, but at least one idea from each. I can collect 60 ideas right away, right? But which one idea I want to go and implement, or which ideas I want to go and implement? Tell me, what's the keyword here? What do you think, guys? What's the idea that I want to go and implement? The idea which is the most effective and efficient. All right, the most effective and efficient. Remember, that's a keyword we talked about earlier. So smart or ideal for situation, yes, but it has to be effective. That means it's ideal for situation and efficient. That's basically what it is, right? So the keyword is effective and efficient. Please keep that in mind. Okay. I don't need much time. We're about to wrap up our session, right? So just a few more minutes. And we'll share this idea generation video with you guys. You can watch that. Arslan, if you can find it and share that in the chat, that'll be good. Okay, so here we look at different ideas, then you filter out the ideas, and then you do the pilot, right? To make sure that these ideas will actually bring in the results that you're looking for. And then you simply go and implement them, right? Now, once you implement those ideas, you make sure that you keep the data intact, right? Because data is telling you what is happening, what's going on. Control phase, you need to come up with some procedures, make sure that whatever you have implemented, you stay there, right? You come up with different standards and make sure your team is trained to maintain those standards, right? You do the lessons learned documentation, do proper categories based on your defects, based on the root cause analysis, based on your opportunities in the future as well. By the way, one Lean Six Sigma project can lead multiple Kaizen projects, A3 projects, and maybe future Lean Six Sigma project as well that I've seen in organizations happening. All right. So at the end, of course, once you implement, you look at the success, you need to do your proper reward and recognition, right? Certificates, some rewards to the teams. Some organizations, they give 1,000 riyals or dollars to the team members, all right, based on savings. Some they share 20% of the savings to the team, all right? So again, it depends on how you do it. So quick wrap up, you start with defining the problem, what it is. You do a proper charter. You do the SIPOC where you understand the process. Then you get into what data we need to collect, what type of data, and then of course that will carry on to do your analysis. With Pareto chart, there are different tools. By the way, we use Minitab to do analysis. Personally, my favorite is that tool. You can also do, use Excel statistical tools. Then based on that one, you come up with different ideas, do some testing, find out whether you have improved, build hypothesis, prove your hypothesis, and then further on, control. Come up with control tools and make sure that you monitor your performance and it stays in that level, all right? Just, before I ask questions to you, what could be a very simple control tool? By the way, Arslan has shared the video. I believe that's for the brainstorming in the chat. So you guys can watch that later on anytime you have. And feel free to share those, right, with your team members, no issues. We create SOPs. Yes, SOP is one of the good way to make sure that we keep everything in a proper control. RCA is not just defined. RCA, you do it through the fishbone. If you're talking about in my slide, so with the fishbone, you're using that tool for the root cause analysis. Reporting on the set frequently. Okay, yes. Periodic check-in. Logbooks. Yes, exactly. You come up with different monitoring tools, right? So screen, and you can see the data, green lights and yellow lights, all right? So different ways, different, there are many techniques on control checks. And in control, that's basically where you come up with Pokayoki style, all right? You bring in your team and think, hey guys, how can we come up with controls and have Pokayoki implemented in the same way? You know, in your car, when you have the fuel check, so if the fuel goes, you know, below specific line, you have to get fuel, right? Otherwise, car would stop. So those kind of things we're talking about. Okay, project health check. Yes. Key performance indicators, key risk indicators, all those are critical elements. Okay. All right, so here, guys, we'll open your question answers as well. And our future plan, by the way, please type in your names once again. Please type in your names. Those who missed you to put your names, put your full name, so that we know you are here and we know that that's your name to prepare your certificate. It will take a week, all right, about 7 days to send you your certificates. Those will be digital certificates. We'll send by email. It's by Smarter the Cause. Your green belt and black belt certificates are also by Smarter the Cause USA. You can get that, and that's enough. It's worldwide acceptable certificates. You go anywhere. Majorly, they ask what are the topics covered, and those topics are actually based on international standard. If anyone wants, our training will also prepare you for ISAC exam, IASSC. So you can take the ISAC exam for the green belt and black belt. But with the ISAC exams, you have to spend extra 300 for the green belt and 400 for black belt. That's a separate exam fee for ISAC. Whereas what we are showing you here with Smarter the Cause, you are getting training and certificate together. All right. Again, as I said, the certificate is accepted everywhere. All right. So anywhere you go, it's globally accepted certificate. We do online and on-site. So those who are interested to get on-site training, especially for your organization, talk to us. So let me know. I'm sharing my WhatsApp number here as well. All right. So if you have questions, you can let me know and we can carry on from there. Okay. So here is my WhatsApp number, LinkedIn profile, and the YouTube channel. Thank you, Arslan, for that. So you can reach me out and we'll carry on from there. So in-house trainings, we can put up schedule. We can do that. If you want to join our public session, which is online, we scheduled one from 28th of October to 2nd of November. It's a recorded and live session. So recorded means you will watch a video about 1.5 hours. So we start, let's say on Saturday, we send you the video, you watch the video. On Sunday, we have a live 1 hour session from 8 to 9. And then at 9, we send you the video for day 2. And then again, next day, we have a live session and we have a video again for 1 to 1.5 hours. So it's about 1 to 2 hours video and about half an hour to 40 minutes you're required to work on project and work on assignment. And then we have 1 hour live session. So on daily basis, it's about 3 to 4 hours commitment that you do in order to become green belt certified. Normal fee we have is $2,250 for our online sessions. For you as a team, we'll give you extra 500 discount, which we normally don't give. Our final price is actually discounted price, which is $2,250. I think it's about $600. So now it's special for you where you're getting extra 500. All right. So also we'll extend this to you and your colleague or your reference. For example, let's say you want your brother or sister to become green belt certified. You can recommend them. All right. Since we have your name, you register with us. So if they recommend or you recommend them and they provide your name, they will also get extra 500 discount, right? Please mark your date. We have limited seats. We'll not go beyond 20 seats in our online session. Sometimes we do exceptions, but mostly we'll limit to 20. Okay, maximum is 25, by the way, but ideal situation is we'll stick to 20. All right, especially when it's themed from different areas. So mark your date and time, and for you, let us know within a couple of days if you plan to join us. Look at your schedule, and we'll carry on from there. All right. Now I want to ask you guys any questions you have specifically for the session. All right, please go ahead. Anyone, any questions? James, I think please send me a WhatsApp message. All right, so we'll talk about your specific situation one-on-one. And I see the names there. Okay, very good. If I miss any questions earlier in the chat, please type in your questions now. Najla, that's fine. Your Arabic can also join, no issues. Okay. If there are any questions from our listeners, have you sent any chat? You can connect to me as well, or Muhammad Usman, and send us message. We'll reply you back. All right. So thank you very much. Thank you for joining. One last thing, I want you to give your feedback on this session. All right. So give me a statement, your feedback. Can we use Six Sigma product development? Yes, exactly. We can do that. It's called design for Six Sigma. So normally what you do is you actually benchmark with already available product and you work on that, right? So it's again a detailed concept, but yes, we can. If you want some more specific discussion on this, let me know. But we can do that as well for the product development or for a plant or factory development as well, right? So you can work on this. Lean Six Sigma is basically now one of the key tools in operational excellence, right? You heard about OPEX. So there's operational expenses and there's operational excellence. So this one is operational excellence. It's one of the critical tool. I told you about Kaizen, which is continuous improvement. It has different phases, but we'll do a Kaizen session separately, right? We are running out of time in today, but we'll do that, and hopefully you get our wording as well. We'll carry on from there. Yes, we'll share the presentation, Hani, of course. So we'll try to send you within a day or two. All right, so you'll receive this presentation, inshallah. Khalid, informative session, much appreciated. Thank you. Okay, Adil, yes, we'll try to put this on maybe YouTube, all right, or one of our channels, and then you can watch it. Yeah, I'll put it on my channel on YouTube, so just watch it from there. And feel free to share that video with others as well if you feel it's valuable. Those who watch the video and they want to become certified as well, they can also send me a WhatsApp message or email to us, and we'll have them certified as well, right? Again, I think there'll be a questionnaire they have to complete, a quiz, and then they can become certified also. Thank you, Rawad, for joining. Zubair. Very good. Thank you, Saeed, for joining. All right, everyone, you have a good night. Take care. And I think in somewhere it's a morning, so you guys have a good day. Thank you very much and take care. Right, and stay connected. Right. Have a good one. Thank you. Bye.